Welcome to part 3 of my Rose Bowl analysis for the Michigan-Alabama game. And today I want to talk about how Alabama had some mishaps that ended what would have potentially been a game-sealing drive for Alabama. So remember, in the first half of the fourth quarter, Alabama was up 17-13. And they were on a drive, moving the ball, running the ball. By the way, they ran the ball very well in the second half, and they had a few miscues each time. I'm going to talk about that in a separate video, so watch out for that coming forward. But in this particular drive, they had a really bad sequence that threw everything off. So I'm going to walk you through the plays of what happened, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. So let's get right into this. So on the first play that we're going to show is a nice run from Jace McClellan from Alabama. So look at the clock. It's the fourth quarter. Alabama's up 17-13. The second and 6. 9 minutes and 48 seconds left in this game. Alabama has 12 personnel going here. So it's one running back, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, obviously. Michigan has 5 people up on the line of scrimmage. So they obviously know Alabama's looking to run, and Alabama still gets a nice run off anyway. Jalen Milroe catches the snap. He ends up, and funny enough, not to beat up on Seth McLaughlin a lot more, but I was about to say that's slow. That snap is a little bit low, not the lowest that he did, as you may know coming up later on. But this one, he had to bend down a little bit. He hands it off to Jace McClellan of the field. Now, the funny thing is that Caden Proctor is kind of beat inside a little bit. Well, I wouldn't say he's beat. Before he can move on to the linebacker coming through, the linebacker shoots the B gap. But Jace McClellan is able to beat him to the outside anyway, and actually beat everyone to the outside and cut inside where the Michigan, I think, who was that on the outside? Number 32 tried to knife inside. So Michigan's linebacker mis-executed here as well. He should have set the edge on the left side, pushed Jace McClellan further out toward the sideline where Kendrick Law was blocking the DB, and maybe that DB could have set the edge a little bit more too and forced Jace McClellan to get more wide. So number 32 really messed up here because he allowed Jace McClellan to cut inside. Jace McClellan just does his thing. Remains balanced, by the way. He started slipping. That Rose Bowl field, it was very slippery. Guys kept slipping throughout. It's an 18-yard game, but he rebalances himself, runs through a Michigan guy with a bad tackle, and still gains first down yardage. And like I said, this play, at this point in the game, I think Alabama has started to wear Michigan down a little bit with how well they were running the ball in the second half. And Jace McClellan does a good job, Will Johnson, the DB, and Ronald Moore, the other DB, who's the safety. They just kind of slowed down or didn't really want to tackle him that well. So you can see Will Johnson's number 2. He's kind of at the top of the screen running forward, and he doesn't even get it in there. Number 28 comes forward. 25 tries to catch up. Ronald Moore can't tackle him, and Jace McClellan just keeps going. That's a really good run, and Alabama did that in chunks, just kind of consistently in the second half. If you didn't notice, you may have noticed the fumble or the low snaps, but in between those times, these type of runs were happening, which is really interesting. And funny enough, to further illustrate it, let's go to the next play. 7 minutes, or a little bit later, a couple plays later, 7 minutes and 42 seconds left in the full quarter. So this is the same drive, by the way. Alabama's now on their side of the 50. So Alabama's moving toward the Michigan end zone, or at least going toward their red zone, I should say. Still the same formation. This is, well, actually, I think Alabama's more so in is that the tight end down, or is that I'm trying to see if that's the tight end, or it was the tight end. So it's Dupree. They're in 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end. That's Dupree kind of set to the right side of the line of scrimmage. They have 2 wide receivers. I think Kendrick Law and Jermaine Burton kind of sit at the bottom down there. And what they do on this play is very simple. Jalen Milroe takes that snap. He kind of pulls behind him to hand the ball off to Jam Miller, who is basically running a halfback sweep toward the right side, where Alabama had the heavier side. This was the strong side of the formation, you could say, because they had more guys on the side ready to block. They have the right tackle, number 65, pulling out to block as well, along with Kendrick Law in motion on the block. And that leaves, so the Kendrick Law's blocking Will Johnson. Will Johnson just whiffs in. It's okay, Will Johnson. You're good in coverage. Just kind of messed up on the tackle here. But Jam Miller runs right through his tackle, gets the first down on his 3rd and 3, runs through. Who was that he ran through? Let me pull that back a little bit. He runs through, who's that, 28? Coming up to try to make a tackle, and number 23 jumps on his back to bring him down for another 15-yard gain. So Alabama's getting chunks of yards running the ball, and they're stretching the Michigan defense out this time. So this wasn't necessarily, so the last 2 plays, Alabama wasn't necessarily just running the ball straight at Michigan, because the Michigan defensive tackles are really good. So Alabama's kind of taking advantage of getting Michigan wide as well. And they were blocking very good on the edge. And they were having success. The issue is what happens next. So literally, the next play, I believe, this is on that first down. Alabama gets a flag, and you can see it right here, 7 minutes, 12 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Alabama gets caught with a mental error. Illegal substitution on the play. Nick Saban's mad. He knows it was setting down. He knows they were getting ready to do something great. And this play sets them back 5 yards. So you think, oh, 5 yards, no problem. They will run the ball again to, maybe get another chunk play. I think the issue is this, and I don't blame Tommy Rees for this. So you can let me know, do you blame Tommy Rees for this? Are you mad, or do you think he should have ran the ball anyway? When you get behind 1st and 15, you're thinking, I need to pass the ball, to make up some yards so that we can maybe run again. Since it's further away to go, Michigan might be able to stop us here on the short run. Now we have a long second down. If we run again, we're going to have a long third down possibly. So let me try to get some yards on the first down. I understand the philosophy, but do you think, what would you have done? Would you have continued to run? Would you have called the pass here? What Alabama does is call a pass. So the next play, is 7 minutes, 1 second left, 1st and 15. Alabama is in 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end, and the shotgun formation again, 2 wide receivers at the top of the screen, Jermaine Burton at the bottom of the screen. Michigan is obviously a nickel defense to combat this. Alabama is going to do a play action here. So I like the fact they did a play action. So this is why I'm fine with this call. It's just unfortunate that Michigan executed so well. And you'll see what I mean. Alabama's a play action. So obviously Michigan's thinking, oh, they ran the ball on us. They're going to run again, which is why Michigan sent the blitz. Look at Will Johnson. He came on a cornerback blitz. Will Johnson left Jermaine Burton on a cornerback blitz and ran into the backfield to stop the run. And Alabama tricked him. Alabama did like a little fake screen at the top of the screen up there. But the real play was throwing hot here to Jermaine Burton underneath after his DB blitzed. And so Jalen Milroe gets that ball out there. Jermaine Burton catches it, but then look what happens. The Michigan DB number 3, I don't even know his name. This was an impressive play. Ran all the way from his safety position to cover the Will Johnson. So this is disciplined defense to cover Will Johnson's blitz. Will Johnson blitzing, so his guy's wide open. Jalen Milroe recognized that, gets that ball out there quick. Gets it out there quick as he can. And the DB just made an excellent play. And now, so while that wasn't a bad play, it's just that Michigan's defense executed even better. And all Jermaine Burton has to do is make the guy miss, and maybe you get, the first down, maybe 5-10 yards. That puts you in a much better situation. That was a 2-yard gain. Alabama's now in 2nd and 13, and that's the fear of the offensive coordinator, because now you're behind the sticks. If you run the ball now on 2nd down, which you still could, by the way, I'm not saying you can't, or that it's a bad idea, or that maybe even I would have called a run, I probably would have. You're now in a situation where you're like, what do we do on this next play? And I'm not going to show you that play because I think Alabama threw it again and got like a 4-yard gain. I think the tight end called a 4-yard pass. So what I'm going to do is jump in to the 3rd down play, because after Alabama called another pass on that next play to kind of make up some more yards for that 2nd and 13, they were in 3rd and 9. So Alabama's in 3rd and 9 now. So what that means is that you have to pass. You want to run, unless you just want to try to burn some more clock, but at most that'll put Michigan under 4 minutes, and then they would what am I trying to say? You have 4 minutes to drive the ball down the field and take the lead. Now, mind you, at this point, Alabama is at the 29-yard line of Michigan. And so maybe you do call a run and just kick a field goal, which, ultimately ended up kicking the field goal anyway, so it didn't matter. But this is where it gets a little troublesome. So on this 3rd and 9, if they would have been able to continue to run the ball, Alabama probably would have moved down the field even further to burn some more clock, and even if they did kick the field goal, that would have left a little less time for Michigan, although they still scored later on in the same situation. But it probably would have been a lot more pressure. So right now on 3rd and 9, with 5 minutes and 32 seconds left, Alabama's in 11 personnel again, and they have to throw the ball. And every time Alabama had to throw the ball this game, and Michigan knew Alabama had to throw the ball, they sent pressure, because Alabama couldn't block it. some of the narrative of some people about Jalen Milroe in this game is that he just had open guys all the time and just missed them. On this particular play, he did have some people underneath, but by this point, he's already kind of gun shy. And this kind of would have been an example maybe where he could have thrown it to, I think this is Amari Nyblack right underneath. So this is one of the examples where like, okay, Jalen, you could have also thrown this one, especially when Michigan is coming hard on this pressure. They collapsed the pocket on Jalen. The issue is Alabama knew that they couldn't protect Jalen all game, and at that point, you kind of moving around. You're kind of running for your life. And you can't expect a quarterback who's been sacked 6 times and felt the pressure on every long drop back to be able to execute this at this point in the game, especially when he knows that the pressure is going to break down. And to his credit, like he did it at times, but like the pocket collapsed. So what he could have done here was hurry up and throw his ball to Amari Nyblack. I'm not going to dispute that. For sure, he could have just went ahead and threw that to him. Michigan also is watching, by the way. Michigan is not playing man-to-man defense. Michigan is playing zone defense here. And you can tell that. I think this is like a cover 3 probably. Let me think of those safeties. Let me see if one of the safeties came down. Yeah, they're playing like a cover 3. So basically they got a deep third, and a deep third. 2 cornerbacks playing a deep third, a safety playing a deep third, and they have guys across the middle of the field. So the thing is, even if Jalen throws this to Amari Nyblack, there's no guarantee that he gets the first, although that is the best play, 100%. But a 3rd and 9, the pressure is there, the pocket is collapsing, and every other time that the pocket has collapsed on Jalen in this game, he's gotten sacked. And most of those, I would say 4 out of the 6 sacks were not easy situations where he didn't have like quick check downs to throw to. Like this play and like one other or 1 or 2 others where he had maybe like a quicker route he could have thrown it to. But other than that, they were deep progressing routes. And so that put Alabama in a situation to where they get sacked, they don't convert this 3rd and 9, and they kick the field goal, and they go up 20-13, and you know how the rest of the game goes. But imagine if Alabama didn't do the illegal substitution on 1st down here, and they continued to run the ball because Michigan was starting to wear down. Now, I'm interested to know, Michigan fans, do you agree? Do you think Michigan was also wearing down at this point, that if Alabama had continued to be able to run the ball, how far do you think this drive would have gone? But that's why I said Alabama mishap ended this potential game-sealing drive because Alabama didn't run the ball again after that illegal substitution on 1st down. Now, I know some Alabama fans might say, well, we're going to blame Tommy Rees and say, why didn't you just continue to run the ball even though it was 1st and 15? And I think as an offensive coordinator, it's hard because I think if these passes worked out, it would have been a problem. They'd be like, oh, that was smart. Like he got behind the sticks and he caught back up, and then we were able to run the ball again. But because they didn't quite work, and due to some really good Michigan defense, they didn't work. This is the result that we came to: a drive that stalled and had Alabama kick a field goal instead. So that's my analysis of this drive. I don't know what you guys want to think about this or what your thoughts on these plays. Let me know what you think. I'll see you for the part 4 of the Rose Bowl analysis.